my channel, and today's video I'm going to do it slightly differently because instead of going through doing lots of edits and voicing over, I am going to do it sort of in real time and talk as we go. So this design I am going to show you today is very much inspired by the Day 12 glitter from the Nail Team advent calendar, which was this really beautiful, I called it a snowy scene mix. So it had some sort of silver mirror pieces and some iridescent-y pieces, almost opal iridescent. A variety of shapes, some hex pieces, bit of tinsel, there's some triangles, some butterflies, I think there was sort of some like shards, and then there was the bigger pieces with some trees, Christmas trees, and some snowflakes. And when I opened it in the day, did I say 12? I'm not going to look. Whatever day it was video, and I will link that up here so you can check out that video. I said it really made me think of a snowy scene, so I decided to do a snowy scene design with this set. So I'm going to put this away so I don't spill it, because that would not be good. Yeah, day 12 it was. So I've already done 2 nails. So just doing 2 in the video to save a little bit of time. And for a slight difference, I've done a snowy scene in day and night. And the only difference is I've used a light blue and a dark blue. So we're going to go in and we're going to do the middle 2 nails. Now they are all exactly the same. The only difference is one nail is going to have the light blue and one's going to have the dark blue. So I could really just talk through one, but I wanted to show you the 2. So as always, the first thing I'm going to do is just put down a thin clear base. This is not vital when you're working on a practice hand, but I still prefer to do it. And the tips I've used are the Gems stiletto tips, and I've chopped the end off to make them sort of a long tapered square. So just going to finish popping that thin base down, and then we can get in to the design. So while that sets slightly, I'm going to show you what I've done with the glitter. Okay, so I've tipped the glitter out into a triangle tray like so. And then what I did was pick out the trees and the snowflakes. There's still a couple of trees in there, but not going to matter. To make it easier to apply the little glitter pieces and then the chunky shapes. So we'll be using the sort of the mix first, and then the snowflakes and the trees on top. So to start off for this design, I've just put down some white acrylic at the very tip. This is to sort of represent my snowy ground. Hello. You alright? How's school?
Good.
Good, good. What are you doing now?
You get that in there?
No, I got that. No.
You don't know that?
Yeah.
What did you get?
Stars. Love it. So just place that at the tip and then just faded it up slightly. It doesn't need to be perfect because it's going to be hidden, and I'm going to be sort of overlapping the blues anyway. So just going to do that on the other nail. And just fade it back. Okay. Pop the lid on so I don't end up throwing it. So the two blue acrylics that I'm using for this design, I didn't have the sort of the colours I wanted in my Glam and Glitz, so I've gone through my collection and I've pulled out two of my Moyra acrylics, and I've got Monsoon and Royal. So nice light blue and a dark blue. So I'm going to go in with the light blue first, and this is going to be sort of my daytime. And these coloured acrylics from Moyra are so pigmented, you just need the smallest amount, and they are colour powders, so they will need capping, and they are incredibly pigmented colour powders, so you literally just paint the smallest amount on, and then I'm just pulling it down over top of the white slightly. Again, doesn't need to be perfect, you're not going to see it. I'm just going to go in with a touch more though, where it's a bit patchy, just to be on the safe side. And there we go. And then I'm going to do the same on the other nail, but with the other acrylic. And the thing to remember with this design is we are adding quite a few layers with the glitters and the acrylic. So we want to work as thin as possible when applying the design. So it's another reason why I thought these acrylics would be ideal, because I mean, look at that. Again, I'm not worrying about that blend, we're not going to see it. Okay, so that's sort of the base, but I just wanted to make sort of my snowy ground a little bit more snowy. So I have got Cotton Candy. Now I don't know if this was ever released, but it was from last year's Nail Team Advent Calendar. And it's a really nice, just really iridescent sparkly glitter. And I'm just going to pick up a teeny tiny bead and apply that on just the white part, just to add a bit of shimmer. You could do this with glitter, you could just leave it white, and I'm just going to overlap the blue slightly. You could even just do the more of the glitter pieces down, but I just wanted to have sort of that light shimmering on the snow was my idea. So happy with that. Now we can get into placing the glitters from the day 12 Advent Calendar mix. So as I said, I'm going to start off with the sort of the little pieces of the mix. So I'm using my clear acrylic, and I'm going to just put down a slight wash. Again, you know, we're working ultra thin, because we're still going to be adding snowflakes and trees. And then using my wet brush, I'm just going to pick up bits and then just tap it into that wet acrylic. If it starts to dry, we can just add a little bit more. This is why I went for a very thin wash, so that I could layer it without adding bulk. And I want to get a good mix of the sort of the opal iridescent and the mirror pieces. So there we go, just going to overlap it slightly, not all the way, and then I'll repeat. By splitting the glitter the way I have, you sort of can see some of the shapes in it, like so. Now on the outside two nails, I did quite a few trees and snowflakes. I'm gonna, on the middle two, do it a little bit sparser or a few less, so that we can see the rest of the glitter mix coming through. So exactly the same, I'm going to pop down a wash of clear acrylic, and then we're going to start off by placing some trees. So I'm just picking them up and I'm just placing them where I want them. And I think I'm just going to do a couple here. I want that one down a bit. Like so. And then, like I did in my snow glips video where I had snowflakes, I'm going to get a bit of plastic and I'm going to use that to help me stick those fully down. So wrapping round, and then I can just use my finger on top of the plastic, and this allows my body heat to help that acrylic set. And then we can just peel it away and our Christmas trees are stuck down. And then exactly the same with the snowflakes at the top. So a wash of acrylic, not too much, and then we can just pick up some snowflakes. I'm just going to apply a couple, and then exactly the same with a bit of plastic to stick them down. And this, just by sticking them down fully like this, it means when you come to encapsulate and then file, you won't have any sticking up that you then might file away. And by putting the plastic on the nail, it means you can touch it without any worry of touching raw product, you know, because you don't want to be touching the acrylic, because that is where you're gonna, you know, you could develop allergies and things from too much exposure. So we're finding ways of being able to do that without physically touching wet acrylic. And then exactly the same, starting at the bottom with the trees, just a couple. So we're going to get one there and one there. You can overlap them, you can have them on a bit of a slant, it's entirely up to you. It's a snowy forest. And then I'm going to do exactly the same again with the snowflakes. And then what I'm going to do off camera is I'm going to encapsulate all these nails in my clear acrylic and file them. So refine the shape of the side walls, the free edge, make it nice and straight and crisp, and then refine the surface of the nail, and then we can top coat these. So I will be back at that stage to show you the top coat and the final reveal. So that's the design now, having been capped in clear acrylic and filed to shape. I have to be honest, I am liking how it looks like this, and you could go in with a matte top coat and it would give it a completely different look, but I am a shiny girl, so I'm going to be top coating it with a shiny top coat. But before that, we need to just give them a good clean. So I always go in and dust off after I have filed with my duster brush. I did this at the time, and if you were on a client, you could ask them to wash their hands as well to really get rid of any dust that sort of gets stuck in the cuticles or anywhere like that. But I'm just going to go in with a cut up wax strip, which is what I tend to use 90% of the time, and just a bit of cleanser or wipe off solution. You could use sanitizer spray as well. It's entirely up to you. My cleanser happened to be the nearest thing. And giving them a good wipe over. You want to make sure you get right in around the cuticle, especially on a client, because you don't want to then come to top coat and get any little bits of dust that you might have missed in the top coat. You can also spray a nail brush with your cleanser or your sanitizer and give them a really good scrub. It might seem silly that giving them a good clean is an important step, but you have just created this design. You've just spent an hour and a half, however long it takes, to create a beautiful design. The last thing you want to do is put those finishing touches on with the top coat, and if you're adding any crystals or anything like that, and find little bits of dust or fluff or hair or anything like that trapped in the top coat, because then it's almost like those 2 hours you've just spent seems like for nothing. And whilst a lot of people might not even notice a speck of dust or fluff, a nail tech will, and it will bug you forever. So I always give them a really good clean. I tend to, when I'm doing my sets on my practice hand, I pack away and do all the filing sort of in between, and then come back and finish filming, and I always give the hands a good clean. I usually use a baby wipe, because baby wipes are like amazing for anything, before I come back to film the finishing top coating and anything like that. So these have already had a really good clean when I filed them, which was last night, and I've come back the following day to finish the video. But these hands attract dust like there's no tomorrow. You know, you can't stick forms to them, but dust and fluff and all things like that, you can't get it off. So I always like to be, you know, extra sure that I give them a good clean. But obviously at the end of this, I'm going to photograph these and take the tips out and do another one. On a client, they're there for 2, maybe 3 weeks. So it seems a trivial thing, but I think that clean before top coating is just as important as your prep and your application and all of that, because all of those things put together come to create a beautiful, professional, finished, long-lasting, hopefully, set of nails. And I think we should be taking pride in our work. I certainly do. My hands could do with a really, my personal hands aren't too bad at the moment. The nails need doing, but we'll ignore those. These hands I could do with giving them a really good clean in some warm soapy water. I might do that over the Christmas period when I have a few days off. Anyway, sorry I went off on a random tangent there, but I've given them a really good clean. In the couple of minutes I've been talking, dust is already attracting to them, but thankfully the nails are pretty clean, so we should be okay. There is so much going on with this design, I don't feel like it needs any crystals or anything else. You could if you want to be that little bit extra, and to be honest sometimes I am, but I want to show off this glitter. That's the whole idea of this design. I wanted to show off that snowy scene glitter. So I'm just going to top coat, and for that I have my Perfect Nails top gel. I tend to use this when I'm working on acrylics, and then I use my gems top coats on gel polish, but the gems you could use on acrylic as well. So I find this a really nice top coat. It applies nicely, it is so shiny. So I'm always moving other fingers out the way when I'm top coating. It's much easier on a client because they can maneuver themselves and hold it. On a practice hand they can't, but you don't want to be touching the other nails where you've cleaned, because you don't want to transfer anything from your nails or your hands. So and then I bounce my top coat back to the cuticle. This way it means I'm not going to flood the cuticle because I'm not putting the bulk of the product, the bulk of the top coat right at the cuticle. I'm putting it further down the nail and then pushing it back so it's spreading. Then I pull it down, right in, down those side walls, and you can obviously cap the free edge if you want. I'm not going to worry too much on here. So I'm going to finish top coating these and then I'm going to pop them in my lamp. I do have the Perfect Nails Unicorn lamp. I love it. It's beautiful. Cannot wait until I have a desk where I can keep it out all the time. And I'm going to cure for 60 seconds and then that will be my snowy scene design done. And here they are all cured. And that would be the end of your service. Don't forget though, if you are working on a client, you want to let this top coat cool just for a minute or so and then go in with a cuticle oil. When doing all the work on your nails, so cleaning them, prepping them, applying them, you are dehydrating them all the time. You need to dehydrate them to allow the product to adhere to the nail, so at the end you want to make sure you get some hydration back in around those cuticles. So I always like to go in with a nice amount of cuticle oil, especially at this time of year. And if I was working, I would be encouraging my clients to oil their cuticles at home multiple times a day. I do myself and I would recommend that to anyone, especially in the colder weather. You could also use that opportunity as well to get your clients to wash their hands if you didn't previously, but again you want to let that top coat cool before you put anything on there because it will just dull it and then again all your work's for nothing. So that is it done, and I hope you can see that there is a lot of depth in this design because we've got multiple layers. We've got the light blue for the daytime snowy scene and the darker blue for the nighttime. We've got the white with that fine flaky glitter on top, and then we've got the smaller glitter pieces from that glitter mix with the snowflakes and the trees on top of that. So we've got the colour, the base colour as one layer. The flake glitter, which does overlap, is the second layer. Then those little pieces of glitter are our third layer. Then the trees are our fourth layer, and then the snowflakes, because even they are overlapping the tree in places. So even though we've got lots of layers, we've not added bulk because we've worked very thin with the acrylic and patting everything down, but the nail has got dimension. You are looking through it and it has got that sort of snow, looking into a snowy scene feel to it, or at least that's what I think it has. But all that's done with, it's done with one glitter mix and a couple of coloured acrylics. So I'm hoping to you it looks really nice and detailed, but we've not used a lot for it. But this is just one way you could use a multi mix and shaped glitter. So that is it. That is done with me today. Just a slightly different way of doing my videos, but I do hope you have enjoyed it and I do hope you like this set. If you have enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. It always means a lot to me knowing that you are enjoying what I'm bringing you. And if you are new to my channel and you haven't already, please click that subscribe button. I'm doing my best to bring more content all the time, and my plan in 2021 is to really expand on that as well. Feel free to leave me any comments if there's anything you'd like to say. I do my best to get back to Most of them, it's not always straight away, but within a few days. I try and set aside some time to go through any of them. But I'd love to know what you think of this glitter, what you've thought of the advent calendar glitters right the way through. But that's it. I will see you again in another video very, very soon. But thank you so much for watching, and bye for now. Mwah.